Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Endless Encouragement with host Myra Hunt. I am your host, Myra. So happy to be here today. It's getting dark early. I know it's going into fall and winter, but I don't like when it gets dark early at 8 o'clock here in Cincinnati. It is completely dark. I like the sunshine. Well, today's date is September 28th. I hope that everyone had a blessed week. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/learning the Lord. Once again, the Facebook is facebook.com/learning the Lord. I post things throughout the week that is inspirational, motivational, that will help you throughout your week, as well as any upcoming shows. Follow this podcast at blogtalkradio.com/LTLN. If you follow the podcast when I'm broadcasting, you'll get a notification stating to tune in. So that will help you to remember to tune in to Endless Encouragements on Sundays. Subscribe to Endless Encouragement channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/learning the Lord. Tell your friends so that everyone can go and listen and help my ratings on YouTube. Once again, it's youtube.com/learning the Lord. If you can't remember all that when you do go to YouTube, I do have a channel, and it is called Endless Encouragement. So you can just search for me. Follow the podcast on iTunes. You can search Endless Encouragement. And then if you do not have to have an Apple product or an iPhone or anything like that to get iTunes. I actually have it on my website, which is learningthelord.com, and you can order and download books. Even if on your computer you can download actually the iTunes store. So it's not just for iPhones. You can use iTunes on your laptop or on your desktop. Just download it and search Endless Encouragement, and or you can go to my website and just click on the link for iTunes. On my website, learningthelord.com, I do have links to iTunes where you can actually download and purchase music. And if you do that, because I'm an affiliate partner with iTunes, I will receive a percentage of the purchase, which will help me continue the broadcast. So please do that. Also, go to our website at learningthelord.com and sign up for our newsletter. I'm excited. Our newsletter is free. It will be coming out October 1st, which is Tuesday. Yay! I'm excited for the newsletter. If you would like to be a writer for our newsletter, there's no qualifications for the writing. I'm not looking for an expert writer. I'm just looking for someone that's true and has feeling and wants to be motivational to others, inspiration, any type of thing that would uplift or encourage. That's what we're all here for. That's what Endless Encouragement is here for, to uplift and encourage you along your way. So don't think that you can't write. You can. It doesn't have to be it'll be a small paragraph. So you don't have to write an essay. I mean, if you choose to write an essay, that's fine. I will publish it, but it doesn't have to be. It can just be a paragraph. It could be a poem that maybe you like and that maybe help you throughout the day or throughout the week, or has helped you in your time of need of just reading this poem. So if you would like to write for the newsletter, just email learningthelord.com@gmail.com and put in the subject newsletter. All your submission, it should be original. No payments for articles at this time. But if it's not original, just please make sure that you do give credit to the person who has written it. Don't want to just credit anyone or get in trouble for plagiarism, so just make sure that you do include that. But so I know that everyone has something uplifting to say, so please, sign up for the newsletter and become a writer. I love to hear from you. And then coming soon to our website, which is almost ready to go live. Yay! It's Indie Christian Resources. And that page will be dedicated to independent inspirational art and Christian artists. The show I'm looking to do in 2014. However, if I have enough artists who are interested in this year, I will go ahead and go live with the show. But it'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 12:30. Right now I'm looking only to do a half an hour show. So please be sure to check out the website for submission information. I will have that information uploaded and up to date by next Sunday. It's almost ready. And if you know of anyone who is an inspirational Christian artist who is looking to get their name out, tell them about learningthelord.com website. You know, this is really exciting. It could be jazz. It could be contemporary. It could be traditional. It could be rap. Anything that is gospel, Christian, uplifting, or motivational. That is the type of artist that we're looking for. We're also looking for book writers. You know, if you've written a book, please. This is also open to you. If you've written any type of book, or if you're selling any type of Christian items, this is all for you if you're an independent artist. So just please check us out. I already told you that I'm an affiliate with iTunes, but I'm also an affiliate with ChristianBooks.com. So if you go to my website, learningthelord.com, and you click on ChristianBooks.com and make a purchase, I will receive a percentage of your purchase, which will, once again, I stated, will help me fund the podcast. So please, and if you're looking for any type of books, inspirational books, ChristianBooks.com, they have a wide variety of books from children's books to, I've been on there and searched, and they have a lot of different books out there, from Bibles to how to deal with being married to how to deal with being single with kids, just books to help you out every day, inspirational books. They sell planners. They have a lot of items out there. So please make sure that you do visit ChristianBooks.com through Learning the Lord website. Join us and follow us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the show. We're an hour long from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Let me go ahead and give everyone the call-in number. The call-in number is area code 917-889-3203. Once again, the call-in number is 917-889-3203. I would love to hear from you today, so please call in. So our topic for today, this week I was presented with a business opportunity. Something I'm really thinking about doing. But it made a lot of sense when it was being explained to me. But I left and I started reflecting on the business opportunity, and I began to think about me and how it would benefit others. But not only benefit others, of course it would benefit me. But as I went through through my day, as I conversated with different people, I thought, yeah, they could use this service, or this person may know a lot of people that probably could utilize this concept. And I began to think about this business opportunity, dealing with a prepaid credit card. And how you would load money onto a card, and you actually receive money back after your spending. So I began to think a little deeper, and I began to look at my self-worth and how it was already prepaid to me at birth, but I had to tap into this account. And I hope everyone has somewhere along their life have tapped into their self-worth account. But I began to think about, what if every time I thought of my self-worth, or when I'm doing things, how much of an increase I would receive if I truly understood my self-worth. So my question to you, do you know your self-worth? Call-in number is 917-889-3203. Call in, let us know about your, how you found your self-worth, or if you know your self-worth. A lot of people live their lives and they never really fully realize their full potential. I know at one point in time in my life, as I was just living day by day, whatever happens that day, I deal with it that day. But I never really thought about my self-worth or what my full potential could be if I really understood what I was, what I was worth. And the main thing I came up with over the time is that I just did not believe in myself. I even think about when I was in school and I was in high school, and I remember my mom coming home from conference and the teacher had told her, we know Myra knows this information. We know she knows this. She's smart, but she will not use her brain, her knowledge. And I didn't because I didn't understand what that knowledge actually could take me to, and I didn't really understand it. So throughout school, I only did enough. And when I say enough just to get a C. I'm like, no, I'm not working that hard. And that's what I did through high school, because I didn't really understand what my knowledge was and how much knowledge and how smart I actually was. I just didn't understand my self-worth at that point in time. And then I go on some years and in college. When I went to college late, still in college, but in college, I'm calling my mom like, yeah, I'm on the D's list. Yay, I got a 4.0. Yay. And my mom, I remember her telling me, I knew you were smart. How come you can get 4.0 in college, but in high school you couldn't get anything above a C? And I'm like, I don't know. It's because I finally realized what my full potential was. I finally believed in myself. I finally understood what my self-worth was. And knowing that enabled me to be able to break out of that box and to break out of that shell and understand I don't have to be at this level. I can be greater. The call-in number for the show, I would love to hear from you, is 917-889-3203. And, being in college really just opened my eyes, and I no longer wanted to live for the small little validations that I would get, each year from working. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. You get this little validation of, a little increase here, and it's, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you think I do a great job. But it was like, once I understood my self-worth, it was like, yeah, I'm greater than this, and I know I'm greater than this, and I can now fully live my life. And once you really understand your self-worth, you will understand it does not fade in value or doesn't fade in quantity at no way. If anything, it will increase. And it does not disappear just simply because you fail at something or if you make a mistake. A lot of people associate your self-worth with how successful you are. If you open up a business and your business fail, and some people may go into, I wasn't good enough, I should have did that. No, you were good enough. You did awesome because you did something that no one else has done. Even as far as me with the Blog Talk Radio show, having self-worth and knowing my self-worth and my potential, I could have sat back on the sidelines and said, nah, no one's going to listen. But no, here I am every week on Sunday, and I know my self-worth because I know that I can achieve anything in life. Once again, the number is 917-889-3203. Call in, let us know about your self-worth. And how can one really realize what their self-worth is? It's several different ways to get there. My way was just realizing that I can do something. I am better than where I'm at today. I can succeed. I have the ability to succeed. Granted, some people, I got to tell my kids, some people, they can do it right off the bat. But it may take you a couple of times, but that's okay. The point is, don't give up. And the self-worth that I realized was knowing that I can succeed. I don't have to stay in that box anymore. I'm breaking out of the box is broken right now. I've broken out of that box. And I finally realized my full potential. And one way to really find out what your full potential is just make a list of good and bad. And now this, when I say you have to be honest with yourself, you have to be honest. What are you good at? What are you bad at? And make that list. And just make a list. It's just a simple assessment. And don't beat yourself up over it. If you have to think about it, then that's not something that you probably want to write down. I mean, just think about it. Just jot down 10 things really, really quick. What are you good at? What are you bad at? And then take that assessment and go from 1 to 10, worst to the best. Out of out of your list, what are you really good at, and what's the worst, and what's the best? And what that is going to give you an overview of how you see yourself and how you think about yourself, because self-worth is all about how you think about yourself. Call-in number is 917-889-3203. And that's what the self-worth is. It's all about how you think about yourself. Now, like I told you when I was in school, and I really didn't think that I was smart. I really didn't. And when there was a task that came up hand and they wanted me to do it a certain way, I just couldn't do it. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And I really didn't have a self-worth of knowledge. It was just I didn't want to do it. I didn't know my full potential. And how I thought of myself was not as I compared myself to others. Well, I'm not as smart as that person, so I'll just go ahead and play dumb and figuring you put me in all low classes, as I'll say that. I don't know if that's the term these days, but you'll put me in the lower classes and I'll be the best there because in my mind, how I thought of myself was, no, if someone's smarter than me, I don't think I just had a low thought of knowledge. I didn't want to be there. But another way to get to know your self-worth is to find trusted friends. Now, when I say trusted friends, you have to trust this friend. And this will have to be someone who gives you an honest opinion every time you want an honest opinion, a straight answer. You don't want someone who's just going to agree with you and say, oh, well, you're a good person, or you're this, or you're that, or you can do this. Just because they're agreeing with you doesn't mean they're for you. So you want someone that is really going to give you a straight answer, and they will be able to let you know, well, you rated this maybe as a 10, maybe you should rate it as a 7. And that's not to say, they're downgrading you or anything. They're just giving you an honest answer, because when it comes to dealing with yourself, you tend to not really want to deal with honesty, but just be honest with yourself. Probably when you wrote that 10 down, you were probably thinking, this is not really a 10. This is probably a 7 or an 8. You're probably thinking that anyway. But sometimes assessing ourselves, it could be our worst enemy. And the reason I say it could be our worst enemy is because we can really come and really say, no, I'm not good at this, and then you go into venturing into different things. Well, I don't know what I'm good at, and I don't know this, and you just start downplaying yourself, and it could be a worse enemy. But just be honest with yourself. Another to realize your self-worth is to begin projects and then you can look for positive remarks or comments about your performance or your personality traits. I know I enjoy when people tell me, oh, I love your show, I listen to your show helped me, and it's like, wow, do you understand the increase in self-worth that is for me? And just understanding that this is my self-worth, and it increases my self-worth knowing that this is something that I'm helping someone else do, and that's part of the self-worth. I'm not looking at myself. And when you start to do that, you can, once you start realizing your self-worth, you can learn to achieve just about anything, in life. And you can learn to do just about anything, and anything you're afraid of doing, you'll think about your self-worth and you'll say, okay, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. The call-in number is 917-889-3203. And just have to understand the power of your attitude towards yourself and views about yourself. And that's the honesty part, is when you're looking at yourself. It's okay if, you're looking at yourself and you're saying, oh, I can't sing. Well, I'll tell you right now, I can sing. I can sing. But my self-worth and being honest with myself, I can't sing. I understand that, but as you see the self-confidence in myself, I'll tell you in a heartbeat, I can sing. And sometimes I'll tell people I can't sing, I can sigh. But I know within myself that, my notes are not quite there. They're a little challenging for me, but I'll belt out a tune in no time. And, I understand what my talents are, and I understand, about myself and how I perceive myself. And another way of knowing your self-worth is, how do you talk about yourself? When you talk about yourself, do you downgrade yourself, or do you uplift yourself? Do you say negative things about yourself or positive things about yourself? I am guilty, and I will say, me, I am on, need to lose a couple pounds, but, I'll say, oh, yeah, I'll make like a little fat joke or something like that about myself. But, I understand now that I don't talk like that anymore, because I'm a beautiful person. I am a beautiful person inside and out. And I don't put myself down anymore. I don't belittle my worth. I don't, make light of my talents and in the face of others, and I don't come across as low self-esteem. I don't have low self-esteem. And in some areas of life, you have to understand that you have to have that self-esteem in order to have your self-worth. You can't have the low self-esteem. I think they go hand in hand personally, because if you have low self-esteem, maybe you're not looking at yourself fully and understanding the qualities that you possess. And you need to understand that everyone has different qualities, and one of the things that we tend to do as humans is to look at other people. And you'll never find your self-worth by looking at someone else. And that will be your biggest downfall. If you're comparing yourself to whomever, you can't do that, because they're someone totally different and you're someone totally different. Your skills and qualities, your talents, everything about you is totally different from that person. And you were made with a distinct gene, which is just for you. Your self-worth was already given to you at birth. You just have to learn to tap into it and understand your full potential. Understand your power of your attitudes towards yourself. If you learn to think more positively than negatively, then you'll understand your self-worth. You'll understand that you can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. You do have the talent. You do have the skills. And that's what I was lacking in high school, is that I didn't understand that I could do half the things that I could do, because I didn't have that power in my mind. In my mind, I was just being a typical teenager, just trying to get through high school. But then when I get to college, I get to thinking, well, I better start thinking like I'm smart. I'm in college, and now I'm in college and getting, A's every quarter. And it's like, wow, why couldn't I have done this in high school? Just think about the scholarships I missed out on by wanting not to use my brain. But that's okay. We're here now, and I'm happy that I learned that. Learn to, do you love yourself? That's another part of self-worth. Do you love yourself? Do you honestly look in the mirror and say, I love you? Try it. I think one of my broadcasts we did where it was like forgiving yourself, you look in the mirror and just say, I love you. Don't look at the flaws. Don't look at the negatives. Just look at yourself and say you love yourself. I know I love myself. Yes, I do. I can give myself a big hug every single day. I love me some Myra. But, you have to be able to love yourself. And that's part of being your self-worth. Self-love is expressed, just by announcing how great you are. Because that just gets rid of any insecurity that you have. How generous are you? How compassionate are you to treat people as your friend? Do you treat yourself with care? Do you respect yourself? That's self-love. And you have to be able to love yourself. No matter, we're not thinking about what you did in the past. We don't care about what you did in the past. Because that's in the past. And we can't change what was in the past. We're here now. We're trying to move forward. So don't even think about what's in the past. The call-in number for this show is 917-889-3203. We're talking about how to build self-worth on Endless Encouragement with host Myra Hun. So we're talking about the self-love, and we're talking about how to love each other or love yourself. And if you can't love yourself, how can you love others? And that's one of the biggest ways. That's one of the faults in not knowing your self-worth is not loving yourself. Because if you love yourself, you will have full confidence. You won't falter or anything like that. So you won't fall into different, addictions or things of that nature because you'll love yourself. You'll love yourself enough to want more. Another part of self-worth is requiring you to, trust your own feelings. Learn to listen to and reply upon, your feelings. And not respond to the feelings of other people. And that right there alone will help you to understand your self-worth. Because if you respond to the feelings of other people, you're feeding into what they are feeling and what they are thinking. But you want to have your own feelings. And it's okay if you're in a crowd or you're with people and people are saying, they're being negative, and you want to be positive, which I always go for the positive. Trust your own feelings. If you don't have to follow the crowd. Because if you start following the crowd and start feeling the way everyone else is feeling, that's not your self-worth. That's someone else's self-worth. In fact, it could be a group of low esteem. So learn to trust your own feelings and learn to respond the way you want to respond, and learn to understand when learn to understand when others are wanting you to feel a certain way, and you can't feel that certain way. I've been presented with different things throughout life, and people say, can you believe they did that? Or can you believe this person just did that? And I don't feed into those feelings. And like I said, I always go to the positive. Well, it could have been something else this person's gone through. or it could have been something else, you know. And if you don't make those decisions for yourself, you're just letting others make the decisions for you. So that's why you need to trust your own feelings. It's not that you're in a disagreement with what has gone on. It's not saying that. It's not that you're telling this person that they're a bad person. They shouldn't be thinking like that. But you always find yourself boxed in by what other people decide for you if you do not trust your own feelings. And then, you know, the people who are making the decisions for you, once they disappear from your life, you're left alone. You don't know what to do at this point in time because you relied so much on other people's feelings that you don't even trust your own feelings at that point. And this is, you know, it could be a very hard place to end up at. And if you're not prepared to make decisions for yourself, you know, you may fall into a pretty bad state in your mind. So learn to trust your own feelings and don't doubt your feelings. Because like I stated, you don't want other people to decide for you what your feelings are. Everyone has an opinion. I think that's what a keychain used to say. I used to collect keychains, and one of my keychains was everyone has an opinion, but no one asks for yours. So everyone has an opinion, but you don't have to fall into their opinions, and you don't have to listen to what they say. The call-in number is 917-889-3203. We're talking about self-worth. And just learn to trust your feelings. And even if your feelings turn out to be wrong, it's okay. Because guess what? You trusted your own feelings. And it's okay. Because that's what you felt at that moment. But don't allow the other people to make decisions for you. And I know this is sometimes kind of hard in working in environments that we work in, that so many people get into uproars about this is going on or that's going on, and so many people tend to block off, as you say. They have these little packs in the offices of who's with who and who's part of what group. And it's okay to be by yourself because you're probably the safest person there as far as in your mind, because once the leader, and it's always the leader of the pack, once that leader who was causing so much of an uproar leave, or maybe get transitioned out of the department, or, you know, leave the job, whatever, you'll start seeing that pack slowly dissemble. You know, they don't know what to do at this point because they've relied so much on this other person to make decisions for them on how they feel, how they think. And you don't want to be one of those people, because once you're left alone, then you don't know. Especially if it's really bad when it's just two people together and then one person leave and you're just kind of sitting there like, okay, I've talked so bad, so now you're trying to refriend everyone that you defriended, or trying to get into different, like I said, different packs and different groups of people, because now the one person that was causing so much of an uproar has left, because you never trusted your own feelings, because you felt that maybe you've given this person too much of a power. So you don't want to be in that predicament. So learn to trust your own feelings. If it means, I would rather stand alone than be with the crowd. And once you get to where I am in life, you'll understand what that really means, because I trust my own feelings. And it could be wrong. My feelings could be wrong. I'll admit it. My feelings could be true. I'll admit it. I get a 50-50 chance every time I trust my feelings. But the main thing is that I trust my feelings. And I trust my feelings to lead me down the correct path. And sometimes going down the wrong path, there was something that I needed to learn down that path. So it's not a bad thing But learn to trust your feelings so that you can build your self-worth and understand that you are capable of doing things, that you can succeed in life, and that you can overcome whatever there is. Know your self-worth. Know that, sometimes just looking in the mirror and just saying, no, along with I love you, but I am somebody. I am somebody. And understand that your talents and understand what was given to you, this is what's going to guide you in life. Understanding that, no, I can't sing like Alicia Keys. I wasn't given that talent, but I can sing. Everyone can sing. I can sing. No, I'll never get a record deal. Well, I can't say never. They got so many technologies out there. I probably could be a record, make a song and don't know how to sing. We got some artists out there like that, right? But I can trust my own feelings to know that I'm not going to step into a studio and say, yeah, let's record me. No, my feelings already know I can't do that. But just understanding where you're at and trusting your feelings and learning to love yourself. Analyze yourself. When you're standing in that mirror, you're saying that you love yourself and that you believe in yourself. Analyze yourself. And understand that comes into play with that list of 1 to 10. Analyze yourself. What experiences have you had, and how has that informed your growth? How did you grow from that experience? What are your talents? Do you have any talents? Analyze yourself. Yes, I will put singing on my list as talents, but no, I can't. But what are your talents? Do you have at least 5 talents that you're really great at? And when I say talents, I'm not just talking like playing instruments or music or something like that, or singing. I'm talking talents like, are you compassionate? Are you generous? Are you trustworthy? What are your talents that was given to you at birth? Think about at birth. Think about your best friend and, your first childhood friend. What did you have to offer her or him? Your talents. What are you good at? And understanding, if you list those 5 and understand what your talents are, what you're actually good at, that will help your self-worth. If you're an accountant and you really can't do math, let's just be honest. Maybe accounting's not for you. Know your talents. What are your skills? And what skills do you need to work on to perfect them? I know I can work on singing. That's just me. But what are your skills and what do you need to work on is being to perfect them? And understand that. My skill, one of my big skills is I'm reliable. So, I do show up for work every day. But one of the things I need to work on is being reliable, is being punctual. Yes, I tend to cut that line right there. I'll walk in right on the nose. and that's something I need to work on. That's a skill I need to work on. But, I understand that. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? And don't focus on your weaknesses. Don't focus on those. You've done that probably all your life, what you can't do. We're not talking about what you can't do. You already know what your weaknesses are. I have a lot of weaknesses. Everyone has weaknesses, but we're not trying to give that weakness any power anymore. Start thinking about your strengths and how can you make the most of them and the things that you choose to do. One of my strengths is just talking. As you can see, I can talk for a whole hour, and I can make this show 3 hours long talking by myself, but it's cool because I know people are listening. And if you're listening, call in 917-889-3203. But, what are your strengths? And you have to be, once again, be honest. What are you good at? Not what are you weak at. What are you really good at? And one of my biggest strengths is I can analyze things. I'm just speaking as far as work and stuff. I can analyze things and pretty much come out with, pinpoint almost 99.9% when I analyze something at work. But that's one of my strengths. And you have to understand what your strengths are and how to make the most of them. What do you want to be doing in your life? Are you doing it now? And if not, why not? Why aren't you doing it? What is preventing you from doing it? And once you understand, what you could be doing in your life and understanding what's preventing you, because most of the time what's preventing us is just the lack of ambition or the lack of self-worth. I'm not good enough to do this. And just imagine if I thought that I wasn't good enough to have a radio show, you wouldn't be listening to me tonight. But if you're not doing what you want to do, then, this is a topic for a different show, but are you really living? Are you living your dream or someone else's dream? Are you living your self-worth or someone else's self-worth? And learn to, what do you want to do with your life? And just go ahead and do it. Now, if it costs, $1 million for you to do it, and if you don't have $1 million, well, you might want to think about doing something different. But, maybe you're really good at making crafts, and maybe you need to make more crafts and go to or set up a little stand somewhere or get a presence on the web, on the internet, and maybe sell a couple of items. And who knows? It may take off. I wish you the best if that's the route you want to do. But is that what you want to do with your life? Maybe in your life you want to go and, help others, be generous towards others, raise monies for foundations. What's preventing you from doing that? You have to understand that nothing is going to change overnight. It's going to take time. So just go ahead and do whatever you are wanting to do. Analyze yourself. Analyze before you step out and do it. Make sure this is something that is within you. Increase your self-worth. And what makes you feel fulfilled? Are you working on it? Are you busy working on it? Other people's fulfillment? And, you don't want to work on other people's fulfillments because that's going to help their self-worth. Do your own self-worth. Are you working on it? Do you have the plan in motion? Have you sat and really thought about what you need to do? Have you researched it? Go ahead and do the things that you want to do. And not be afraid because your self-worth, because if you're thinking about it, you can do it. You know that you already have the skill to do it. And your self-worth is there. You can do this. And stop making, your self-worth conditional on other people. You don't want to live up to the image of what others people want you to be. Because if you do, you lose your self-worth. And I will be honest, sometimes when you meet people, you tend to start to think like them and start to do the things that they do. And before long, you lose yourself. You no longer know who you are. You no longer know the person that you used to be. And maybe someone may comment that you've changed. Because you're no longer working within your self-worth. You're doing someone else's self-worth. So you're now looked at, or maybe you're your image that you have now developed is what other people want you to be. And that's not self-worth. That's not self-worth. That is something totally different. That's living up to other people's expectations. That's just living the way people want you to live. That's basically putting you in a box. You have to be careful when people want you to live the way they want you to live. You have to be careful with that. And the reason I say you have to be careful is because they don't want you to succeed. Let's just be honest. Some people just don't want you to succeed. And if they know that they can keep you in this box, then they know that you'll never succeed at what you want to do. So you don't want your life conditional on other people and what they think or what their thought process of you is. That's not how your self-worth works. Your self-worth is how you feel about yourself, not about how people feel about you. And so many people basically live their life on how other people feel about them. You know, they make choices, you know, based on what they're going to study in college, their career, where they're going to live. You know, it's all based on expectations, and unfortunately, it's a lot of times it's based on people who are closest to us, i.e., our parents, spouses, friends, even the media. And it's simply because we're afraid of standing up for our own preferences and respecting, you know, our self-worth. And it's not saying, you know, if no one can respect your self-worth, well, first of all, if you're not respecting your own self-worth, how do you expect anyone else to respect your self-worth? You know, and you don't want to live up to those expectations. And you want to break free. I know that, you know, growing up, people always told me, you're so different. It's just like, yeah, I'm different, but I was always living up to my own self-worth, and I knew that I couldn't be in a box. And it basically kind of drove me crazy being in a box. And you eventually, if you allow people to choose what you want to do in life, what your career is, where you live, and everything that you do from day in to day out is all conditional on how this person thinks of you. You're living in a box you're not really living. But once you break out of that box, then you'll understand. But you want to make sure that you're respecting your own self-worth. You know, you're making decisions based on you and what you know that you can do. You don't want to lose your self-worth. And be careful of the people who regret the choices that they made in life. And they want to inflict their distress or anger, you know, upon others. And you want to be careful of people like that. You know, so many people are living with the past because they haven't been able to let go of the past. And so they try to, you know, stop you from doing whatever you want to do, but it doesn't work that way. You know, you want to be able to have your own self-worth and live the way you want to live and get the information and, you know, your details and everything else in life from yourself and what you are listening to and what you're thinking and what you're willing to guide you through in life. You know, look for people who are going to mentor you rather than guide you, you know, or misguide you and then you're unhappy. You know, so you don't want to do that. So a mentor is supposed to just listen and be biased, and they shouldn't, you know, guide you to unhappiness or force you to go into somewhere that's unknown to you. So learn to be weary of when people want you, when you have to live up to other people's expectations. And then, you know, no matter what, you know, always tell yourself you matter. You know, when you're looking in that mirror and you're saying, I love myself, you know, and I am great, you tell yourself you matter. Give yourself a really pep talk and say, I matter. You know, and that what happens in doing these things that I'm telling you, I know some people are probably like, I'm not looking in the mirror saying I love myself. Well, that's fine. You don't have to. But what this is really doing is internal, is changing the internal negativity that you have on the outside of yourself. Sometimes just thinking it is not enough. It's just like it takes a couple of times before you actually can remember something. You know, you hear it first, and yeah, you hear it, but then you write it down. You're more likely to remember it. Then if you actually read it, you've heard this 3 times. Your mind have been over this path 3 times. So you've actually have made a little groove pattern in your brain. Yeah, see, I told you I was a little smart. You made a little path in your brain that now it's in your brain. So that's why the little tricks of writing things down, saying them out loud, and reading them, it will reinforce the positive image that you have for yourself. And once you start doing that and you start telling yourself you matter, look in the mirror and say, I matter, I matter. You know, write it down and then read it before you go to bed. And believe me, you'll start turning those negative feelings into positive feelings. And you'll learn to know whenever things come away or whatever that you can, that you matter, and that you can accomplish just about anything in life that you want to accomplish. You just have to know your self-worth. And sometimes you have to prove it to yourself. And when you are proving it to yourself is that you have to be able to learn to, you know, when you're doing something is to acknowledge the fact that you actually did it. Recognize and accepting that responsibility that, oh, yes, I did it. And it's affirmation for yourself. It'll be affirmation for others. And once you feel that power that you lack, it's going to open up a whole new ball game for you. Trust me, it will. Once you start to prove to yourself that you matter, you're not going to let anything or anyone stop you, but you have to prove it to yourself first. So one of the ways, you know, prove it to yourself is that, hey, if you've been sitting back saying that I'm going to start this business and you haven't done it, prove to yourself that you can do it. Just think about your self-worth and your self-love. You can do it. And when opportunities present themselves, you know, just start going in and understanding and build your self-worth. Learning to recognize opportunities, no matter if they're small or they're big. Learn it. Heed the opportunities. And know your self-worth. Value yourself. And when I say value yourself, don't just allow anything to happen. You know, value yourself enough to understand that I am someone. I am someone, and I do matter. And this is not about money. This is not about what job you have, your status, but value yourself enough to know that you're not just saying anything. You are you, a unique, valuable, and wonderful human being who matters. That's what it means when you value yourself. You value your time. And one of the things that a lot of people don't do is value their time. You know, when you have a couple minutes, you know, or 15 minutes, why spend the time doing something for someone else? Value that time to increase your knowledge. Learn about a new business opportunity. Learn about something inspirational or encouraging. Value that time that you have. And I'm sorry, sitting in front of the no-brainer screen, the TV, it doesn't really help because there's a lot of negativity that goes on the TV. But, you know, just balance the time that you give away to others versus giving it away to yourself. And when you find that you're spending, more time with your family or friends and not with yourself, then you'll understand that the wealth that resides in you is keeping that time away from you. And you want to try to reduce that time that you give to other people. So value your time. And, so I hope everyone understands all about your self-worth and understanding that you are someone, that you do matter and you do have a great potential and that you can achieve anything in life. You just have to realize what your self-worth is. Your self-worth is not going to be equal to my self-worth because we're two different people. So don't compare us, nor can I compare myself to you. But just understand your own self-worth. Look at within yourself. Analyze yourself. Value yourself enough to know that you matter. Love yourself. Most importantly, love yourself. Make that list. Make a list. 1, 2, 10, your worst and your best. Make a list. Be honest with yourself. If you have a really true friend, reach out to them and have them analyze the list with you and have them tell you if, a straight answer. And don't live for someone else. Know your self-worth. Don't fall into the traps of others when they want you to be in their box. Guess what? You can play in the same sandbox, but guess what? You don't have to share the same sand. Yes, I got a little deep. You can play in the same sandbox, but you do not have to share the sand. That sandbox is big enough. It has a lot of sand in it, so you don't have to share the sand. But, tell you when others are wanting you to live a certain way or do a certain thing, and sometimes it's, if you're in a bad situation and they're trying to help you, then maybe that's something you need to take that advice on. But we're talking about your own self-worth, and we're understanding that, you need to live life for you and not for someone else. And because you'll be happier when you're living life for you. I know in dating, I love to laugh. So as you can tell, I love to laugh. So I have to find someone that loves to laugh, because if they don't like to laugh, then, I would be hurting my self-worth, because then that's a part of my self-worth that I would have to shut down. I don't want to shut that down. So I hope that, and lastly, trust your feelings. Trust your own feelings. You don't have to agree with everyone. It's okay to be different. It really is. So I hope everyone understands what it means to have self-worth, what the self-worth means to you, and understanding, going back to my prepaid self-worth credit card. You can increase your self-worth. You can really increase it, because the more you learn to be honest with yourself and the more you look within yourself and analyze yourself, you'll begin to understand your self-worth and be honest with yourself about whatever is going on in your life and whatever feelings you may have. And it's hard to sometimes to be honest with yourself, but you can do it. Trust me. Honesty is always the best policy. So I really appreciate everyone listening to the show tonight. Follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Learning the Lord. Follow this podcast, blogtalkradio.com/LTLN. Check me out on